pensions. He stressed that since Governor Dapo Abiodun assumed office, the administration has not defaulted on pension obligations. Annual pension payments have risen sharply from 6.7 billion naira in 2019 to 20 billion naira in 2025, with projections showing a possible increase to 40 billion naira by 2029.
And the CPS monthly remittances have been made repeatedly on a monthly basis from July 2025 to date without missing 1 month. In addition to that, His Excellency has approved additional pension benefits in line with extant laws that will make the CPS to be much more encompassing, because the issue was that the CPS was lower than the defined benefit scheme. But with the introduction of the annual additional pension benefits, that gap has closed.
The Commissioner disclosed that 23.3 billion naira has been paid in gratuities covering retirees from 2012 to 2020. In addition, 32.8 billion naira in outstanding gratuities for local government retirees inherited by the administration has also been settled.
Ogun State will now stand to benefit from the full implementation of CPS, the Contributory Pension Scheme, which has a lot of advantages that even the employees will benefit from, including access to low-cost mortgage financing. But before we were not implementing CPS before, employees were denied that benefit. Of course, in addition to that, the opportunity for longer-term, low-cost financing is also available. And so with the way we've structured the pension obligations, but also taking care of all the outstanding accruals we've paid from 2012 to 2020, the outstanding obligations of gratuity under the DBS, we've paid that. And so we only have just about 5 years to pay. So from 2012 to 2019, 7 years of the previous administration, the administration of Governor Dapo Abiodun has paid all the outstanding gratuities from that time. And with the introduction of the APB, we're very certain that we've put in place a sustainable source of funding for the pensions.
Also speaking at the event, the Commissioner for Budget and Planning, Olaolu Olabimton, said the 2026 budget reflects strong physical reforms, highlighting an 85% budget execution rate in 2024 and sustained financial stability.
Based on our development focus, we have 63% proposed as capital expenditure as against the 57% in 2025. So the idea is to spend more on capital investments than we spend on recurrent expenditure.
Other commissioners showcased sectoral achievements, including major road construction, increased healthcare funding, rural expansion plans, education support programs, and expanded housing projects across the states. Yusuf Ganiyu, OGTV News.
Christians across the world have observed Ash Wednesday, marking the beginning of the Lenten season, a 40-day period of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving leading up to Easter. Clerics at different services emphasized the importance of humility, forgiveness, and acts of charity, encouraging Christians to turn away from wrongdoing and embrace righteousness. And Kim Agu visited churches across Nigeria. Her report.
Churches were filled with worshippers who gathered for the special service where ashes made from palm branches of the previous year's Palm Sunday were placed on their foreheads in the shape of a cross. The ashes served as a solemn reminder of human mortality and a call to repentance. Clergy urged faithful to use the Lenten period as a time for spiritual reflection, self-examination, and renewed commitment to God and humanity.
To turn to virtue, to turn away from vice. So my message is for all Christians, use this season as an opportunity to ask for the mercy of God, especially for us in Nigeria, that God may have mercy upon us and that we may take on a new spirit, a new attitude, take on virtue.
No matter the glory of this world, no matter the reasons why you have to run away from God, the truth is that something in your life will remind you that you are empty and you are nothing without God in your life. That's why the cause of unity, the cause of transformation, the cause of happiness.
Worshippers described the day as a moment of sober reflection and spiritual renewal, pledging to observe the Lenten season with devotion and discipline.
And as prescribed by the church, fasting in Lent is one full meal and maybe 2 smaller meals. Almsgiving just assists people, cut down on excesses, cut down on junks, cut down on snacks and all.
Lent is what every Catholic look forward to. It's a way to reconcile back to God. It's a way to say, God, I'm sorry for all my past sins. I want to be closer to you. And this is also the period to also reach out to the less privileged.
Ash Wednesday is widely observed by Catholics, Anglicans, Methodists, and other Christian denominations around the world. In Kem Agu, OGTV News.
Former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai spent the second night in the custody of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, as his lawyer, EU Mustafa SAN, pushes for his release on bail. There are, however, indications that the Commission may seek a remand order to extend his stay in custody to enable him to respond to questions posed by investigators handling his matter. The former governor arrived at the EFCC headquarters in Abuja on Monday around 10 in the morning for questioning in connection with an alleged 432 billion naira corruption probe. He was, however, detained at the commission where investigators continue to grill him. An official of the commission said the anti-graft agency was considering obtaining a remand order after the expiration of the hours allowed by law to enable investigators to conclude questioning him. The Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission, OGTV, will conduct a by-election on Saturday, February 21, 2026, to fill the vacant councillorship position in Ohumbe Ward, Iwanos local government area of the state. In a statement by the chairman, Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission, Babatunde Oshibadu, voting exercise will commence from 8 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, and there will be a restriction on vehicular movement within the ward throughout this period. Residents are advised to adhere strictly to the guidelines governing the election. Security agents will be deployed to maintain law and order and ensure a peaceful exercise. Political activities heighten in Ota, Ogun State, as the Ogun West door-to-door campaign team inaugurate 8,105 canvassers in a show of strength for President Bola Tinubu, Prince Dapo Abiodun, and Senator Solomon Adiola. The inauguration, held amid a massive rally in the ancient town, draws party leaders, traditional rulers, youth and women groups from the 5 local government areas of Ogun West Senatorial District, signaling renewed mobilization ahead of forthcoming political engagement. In Kim Agu reports.
The atmosphere in Ota is electrifying, filled with music, chants, and solidarity songs as supporters reaffirmed their commitment to the cause. The state coordinator of the door-to-door team, Yai, Ni Okwebi, describes the 8,105 canvassers as dedicated grassroots mobilizers ready to engage residents at the ward and polling unit levels.
Clearing our full support for the election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu come 2027. We encourage our people to mobilize for him.
He stresses that the initiative is designed to strengthen engagement with residents, listen to their concerns, and promote the developmental agenda for Ogun West. At the inauguration, stakeholders underscored the importance of unity, discipline, and peaceful engagement as the team begins its outreach.
Door-to-door is a mobilization aspect of what we are doing. And as you can see, people are really turning out to embrace what we have on our hands.
The purpose of our being together or forming a group is because of our conviction about our candidates, our leaders that are performing.
The message is very clear. Three directs. We understand what it means. Then our President Bola Tinubu, he has done well. He should continue. That's our position. As long as Igbos are carried along, we continue to do it together.
The rally's highlight is the symbolic presentation of the identification materials to representatives of the canvassers, marking their official induction into the grassroots movement. The Ogun West door-to-door team is set to commence immediate mobilization across the senatorial districts. In Kem Agu, OGTV News.
Pupils of South Africa Creative Academy Abeokuta have taken their classroom learning to the real world with an educational excursion to Ogun State Television OGTV. The visit exposed the pupils to the practical workings of a television station, giving them first-hand knowledge of how news and programs are produced. About 30 pupils throughout various departments at OGTV, including the newsroom, the library where video clips are stored, the studio, the master control room, MCR, and other operational areas of the station. Media professionals guided the students, demonstrating how news is researched, written, and prepared for broadcast. The pupils also learned about the ethical responsibilities of journalists and the importance of accuracy in reporting. For many of the students, seeing the behind-the-scenes processes of television production was both exciting and educational.
That's the phenomenon of OGTV, which is Ogun State Television, and the phenomenon of MCR, which is Master Control Room. And I learned how news is being broadcast and so on.
The recent thing I learned about OGTV today is that the editing room is a place where any mistake is being created, it can be easily corrected. And I also learned that the MCR has 5 departments.
Enlighten the pupils to make them have the understanding more about the media and be exposed to see things around the TV station and others.
Here in OGTV now is an avenue for them to learn how information is being disseminated. It's a way for them to learn the broadcast process and everything that has to do with information dissemination.
Teachers who accompany the pupils praised the excursion as a valuable learning experience, noting that it encourages critical thinking, broadens horizons, and helps students explore potential career paths in media and communications. The visit to Ogun State Television has given these young learners a glimpse into the world of broadcast journalism, transforming classroom knowledge into practical insight and inspiring some to consider media as a future career. And away from education, we move to the Ogun State Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security says it will not relent in supporting farmers and strengthening agricultural value chains across the state. Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Ububulu Wotomo, stated this while declaring open the Agricultural Infrastructure Sustainability Forum, organized to chart practical ways of effectively utilizing government-provided agricultural facilities in farm settlement. Elizabeth Eso report.
The Ogun State Economic Transformation Projects, implemented by the Ogun State government with support from the World Bank, prioritizes agricultural rehabilitation. The project aims to reduce post-harvest losses,
improve value addition, strengthen farmer clusters, and enhance market competitiveness. The intervention establishes decentralized value chain-driven processing infrastructure across the 4 agricultural zones of the state. With the facilities now transitioning to state ownership, attention shifts to structured management, financial sustainability, and long-term operational resilience, a move considered critical to sustaining agricultural growth and competitiveness. Hence the need for the forum.
This is true, and our farmers' work does not go to waste. It is on that note that we call today's meeting, which is an infrastructure sustainability forum, so that we can look at all this infrastructure that we have provided, because it is not enough for us to provide this infrastructure. What is most germane is how best do we utilize this infrastructure so that we can get the optimal benefit that is derivable from this agricultural infrastructure that has been provided by our amiable, farmer lawyer,
Farmers from various agricultural settlements across the state, as well as representatives of the private sector.
We cannot create agriculture infrastructure and just leave it lying there. So infrastructure is a cost until it's utilized by industry.
We have to learn to use this, to turn this agricultural infrastructure into an economic asset.
Participants received overviews of Oak Step agricultural infrastructure and sustainability outlook, alongside seasons on occupational health and safety, operational management, and long-term sustainability strategies. Speaking on behalf of farmers, chairman of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, Alhaja Ganiat Adeoye Kushimo, commends the initiative and calls for inclusive management of the facilities.
What they have done for us, I'm promising on behalf of the farmers that we will never disappoint you. We will work together to achieve what people are thinking of us.
Following the completion of the project, the facilities transition to sustained ownership by the Ogun State government. The structures are designed to support public-private partnership models, enabling operators to manage processing and storage services under state supervision for continuity and efficiency. Elizabeth Esson, OGTV News.
A fatal road traffic crash on Tuesday has claimed 6 lives and left 3 others injured at Ota Tollgate along the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway in Ado-Ota local government area of Ogun State. According to a press statement signed by the Commander, Ota Divisional Commander of the Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Agency, TRACE, the incident, which occurred at about 9:32 in the morning on February 17, 2026, involved a Mack tanker truck, a Suzuki minibus, and a TVS tricycle. According to him, TRACE operatives arrived at the scene at about 9:40 in the morning. 8 minutes after the crash was reported, and rescue operations were carried out in collaboration with the Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC), the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC), and the Nigeria Police Force. A total of 10 persons were affected in the crash. 3 victims, 2 males and 1 female, sustained varied degrees of injuries and were rushed to the state hospital for treatment. 6 persons, comprising 5 males and 1 female, were confirmed dead and their bodies deposited at the state morgue in Ifo. The driver of the truck reportedly fled the scene. The crash initially caused traffic disruption along the busy expressway, but swift intervention of TRACE officials and other emergency responders ensured that normal traffic flow was restored. All vehicles involved in the accident were evacuated from the road and moved to the police custody. The commandant urged motorists to avoid excessive speeding, warning that recklessness, adding that normalcy has since been restored at the scene, with the road now cleared and free for vehicular movement. And now to the foreign scene. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said talks between Ukraine and Russia had brought about meaningful progress to end the war, as both sides prepared for a second day of negotiations in Geneva. However, hopes of a breakthrough remain low, with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky saying it was not fair that U.S. President Donald Trump keeps asking his country to compromise, adding that peace wouldn't be achieved if victory is handed to Russia. U.S. President Donald Trump has recently suggested it is up to the Ukraine to ensure talks in Switzerland are successful without mentioning Russia. The Kremlin has not wavered from its maximalist demands for Ukrainian territory. And finally, on sports, Russia is set to have athletes competing under their own flag at the Paralympic Games for the first time since 2014. In a statement, the International Paralympic Committee, IPC, said Russia's National Paralympic Committee had been awarded 6 slots in the upcoming Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Games. Wildcards have been granted, so the country will have 1 woman and 1 man competing in para-alpine skiing, 1 woman and 1 man in para-cross-country skiing, and 2 men in the snowboarding event in Italy. The latest move by the IPC comes after Russia was twice banned from the Games, first in 2016 after a state-sponsored doping scheme, and then in 2022 due to the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. And just before we go, let us remind you that by being yourself, you put something wonderful in the world that was not there before. And that's our package this afternoon. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.